Good afternoon and welcome to the Virtual College Exploration for all North and South Carolina students, sponsored by the Carolinas Association of Collegiate Registrars and Admissions Officers and StriveScan. Thank you for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of many different sessions happening right now, so be sure to check out the full schedule at CACRAO.org. This presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at the same website, CACRAO.org. I'd now like to turn it over to our presenters.
Hi, I can go first. So my name is Odessa Thacker, and I am the Equestrian Admissions Counselor for Emory and Henry College. I don't know if other people want to introduce themselves, and then I'll go over what we're talking about today a little bit.
Hello, my name is Debbie Bell. I'm Director of Regional Admissions, and I am our equestrian recruiter for St. Andrews University in Laurinburg, North Carolina.
Hi, I'm Amelia Nowicki. I'm the head coach at Converse College Equestrian. We're located in Spartanburg, South Carolina.
Hi everyone, my name is Amanda Platt. I'm the Associate Director of Out-of-State Recruitment. I also work with our online programs and graduate studies with Lander University. And I, like I said, work with out-of-state students. So any North Carolina kids, I'm your person.
All right, so today we will be talking about several colleges with equestrian programs in the North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia area, which obviously we have all introduced ourselves now. We're also going to talk about how colleges recruit students and how you can be recruited, as well as horse-related job opportunities after graduation. And then at the very end, we're going to have a Q&A session for everybody. If we want to go ahead, let's start with Lander University.
Perfect. I'm just going to share my screen with you guys and let you see one of the slides that we've created about our equestrian program and just more about the university. I can talk more about it, but I wanted to let you guys see what we have to offer. So the program itself, you'll see there, we do have a covered riding area, one of the few in South Carolina. It's a beautiful facility. I've listed our equestrian coaches information there as well. I know a little bit enough to get you excited about the program, and then I gladly pass you off to Coach Cobb. She's fantastic. That's her picture on the top right-hand side. So the different things that we offer as far as the therapeutic horsemanship minor, and you'll see those classes listed there, the different types of programs that we offer, and then they do. You don't have to come into the university being a rider already. That's something that you can do as a new student to the interest of equine studies or equine interest. Say that 3 times fast, you guys. But the different types of riding that we offer, English and Western, the different disciplines. We are an IHSA equestrian team that show, and then we have the different types of hunt seat, as well as dressage and eventing. I have a couple of the girls that are tour guides on campus, and they're fantastic. They're just so nice, and they come from everywhere. So they they shape the team nicely with having different interests. And you don't have to have that equine therapeutic minor as a minor. If you are on the team, you can major in anything that you want. And like I said, Coach Cobb's information is listed below. So she's great to work with. We do open houses and she's always there. And sometimes they bring little show ponies and they're really cute to campus too. So that's really, I just love that because they're tiny and they're cute, but lots of different opportunities listed in there that you guys can look over and kind of check out. So.
All right, so I'll go over Emory and Henry for a little bit here. I'm actually an alumni, so I am also the equestrian admissions counselor. You guys can get in touch with me, anyone who wants to. If you go to the admissions page on the Emory and Henry website, they'll send you to the right person. So Emory and Henry, I don't have a slide to bring up because there's just so much, but we offer a Bachelor's of Art and a Bachelor's of Science in Equine Studies. We also have an Equine Studies minor and a pre-veterinary program. You do not have to be a major, minor, or anything to ride on the teams, or you don't even have to ride on the team. You can just take lessons. We have 21 national championship titles. We have IHSA, IDA, and ANRC teams. As far as our facility goes, about 120 acres, give or take. We have over 80 stalls, including boarding stalls for students. We have 2 indoor arenas that are connected to the barn, so you never have to go outside, which is awesome in the winter. We have 1 large outdoor arena and a big cross-country course out back. We also have paddocks available for private or group turnout, as well as classrooms and viewing rooms. So there's a lot to go over there, but in general, as a rundown, we have a lot of opportunities available for students that are interested in any aspect of equine studies or riding. We also offer equestrian performance scholarships. That's the last point I wanted to touch on.
Hi, I'm the coach again of Converse. I'm going to share or attempt to share my slide with you guys. Okay, I think that worked, I hope. So we're located in Spartanburg, South Carolina, and our program is pretty unique, especially I know for around us, that we offer scholarships to ride on the team, to all levels of riders. So from walk trot all the way up through the open, which competes at around 3 feet. And we also, the school pays for everything associated with the team. So they pay for lessons, shows, travel, hotels, anything that has to do with the team. The school is financially responsible for, not the girls on the team, which is pretty unique, at least from what I've seen. I rode IHSA in college, and we were responsible for paying for everything. And so it's been really nice to be a part of a program where the school has been very, very supportive. And so that way, anyone of any, financial background is 100% able to be a part of our team. So we ride out of my farm that I have. It's about 15-20 minutes from campus. And I provide all of the horses and everything for the team. And the girls come out twice a week for riding practice. And then they also 2 to 3 times a week on campus work out as a team with our athletic trainers. And so you're very much an athlete at Converse. It's not a club sport, it's a varsity sport. So yeah.
Okay, I'm going to do the same and try to share my screen as well. Just give you an overview of the St. Andrews Equestrian Riding Program. Again, my name is Debbie Bayo. I am the equestrian recruiter for St. Andrews University. One big exciting thing for us this year is this is our 50th birthday. St. Andrews has had an equestrian program now for 50 years. We do have about 300 acres of riding. We own about 150 horses. We do have 5 competing teams, 4 of which are national competing teams. We compete in IHSA. For those of you that are part of IEA, you're probably familiar with IHSA, which is the Intercollegiate Horse Show Association. We have an IDA team, which is an intercollegiate dressage team that competes in IDA. We have a Western team that is ranked nationally. We have a hunter show team, of course, that is ranked nationally. We do have an ANRC team, and we have our in-house show team that competes in more of the state and the A shows. One thing that St. Andrews loves to say is that we have riders that come in that are from every background. I'm one of those riders that would come in, and if you would help me get on a horse, help me get up there and show me what I need to be doing. I could probably do some real work. I probably would not make one of our top national competing teams, but I would make a team at St. Andrews. It takes me to get where some of our other competitors are. So at St. Andrews, there is an opportunity for every level of riding. Not only do we have competitive riding at St. Andrews, but we do have academic programs in the equestrian field as well. We have equine business management. We have a major in therapeutic horsemanship. We do have a concentration biology major with the equine science concentration. We have also pre-vet is a program of study where you will study under Dr. Laura Kellum, which is our veterinary in residence. So St. Andrews has a combination of all of the above. We do give equestrian scholarships. We also give academic scholarships in therapeutic equine business, as well as the veterinary. Dr. Laura does give a scholarship as well, on top of our regular academic scholarships at St. Andrews. So if you're looking for a place to come and ride, I invite you to check out our webpage today. We are having a meet our family with all of our coaches with the disciplines on at 5:30. We'd love to have you join St. Andrews and talk to our coaches directly if you're interested in more of the riding and the academics at St. Andrews. So now I'm going to switch gears just a little bit. You've heard from all of us on here. We all have equine programs that are fabulous. We're going to ask you now, and if you will, go to our question and answer tab at the bottom. We're going to ask you, what are you all looking for? Are you currently riding competitively? If so, I know Coach Amelia is going to want to know where you're riding and what type shows you are currently showing in. Maybe you're not riding competitively, but want to ride competitively. So let us hear from you there as well. Do you want to major in equine? Maybe you want to major in education or pre-law and just want to continue your competitive riding. Whatever you want to do, we can help you mix and match and find that right fit for you. So while you guys are listening to us, if you will, go ahead and post those questions. We will get to those questions at the end. Amanda's going to help us guide us through that process. But I'm going to now turn us back over to Coach Amelia so that she can answer some of those coach recruitment questions that I know all of you have. Where are you? How do you find us? How do we find you? So Coach Amelia, I'm turning it back over to you.
Okay. Hi, guys. So someone has asked for schools that recruit riders, is there typically a minimum criteria to be recruited? And that's for us, no. If you are, you really want to ride and you show me that you are all in, absolutely a beginner can be recruited. I have multiple people on my team who have never shown previously to coming to Converse and have been very successful here and have flourished in the program. And so no, if you just your walk trot rider or walk trot canter, someone who's never shown before can absolutely be recruited. Someone who is in each level of IHSA is equally important. You guys all get points to go towards the team score. So everyone is important on the team. Someone who's competing at 3 feet is just as important as someone who's competing at walk trot. And then I think another part of that question is, what does a typical equestrian scholarship look like? And it really depends on the rider. I will say typically the bigger scholarships are going to go to someone who has a lot of experience, but that doesn't mean that someone who doesn't have experience can't get any kind of financial scholarship for the team. So, there's variance there on how I choose my scholarship money, but for sure, everyone is has that opportunity to get a scholarship for the equestrian team. Okay, so the next one, if you own a horse, could we board it at the school or lease through the school? Or if you don't do either, could we at least stay on the same horse or switch it up? So like I said, the team rides at my personal facility. So if there are stalls available, absolutely, you can board at my farm. I currently have, I think, 3 girls that have their horses with me and show with me outside of it. I also have riders that lease horses and go to our local or A shows around here with me as well. And you know, I have a great group of horses, and for the most part, everyone likes to ride all of them. So staying on the same one, probably not, just because for IHSA, it's really good to practice on a lot of different animals, so that you're ready when you go to the horse show to see, you know, which random horse you draw. Hopefully it's something similar to one of the many that you've ridden. But if you are planning on showing outside of IHSA with me at one of the local rated shows, then absolutely you would get to practice on that horse that you were leasing for that. Any other questions?
I would also kind of just tag on to the question with about bringing your own horse. I know for the girls on our team, it's kind of 50-50 on who brings and who doesn't. So I think it's really just open to whatever you got, what your preference is, maybe what you can afford to do, maybe your distance from how far you are from home to where the school is. So like our more local around us, like North Carolina, Georgia, Florida, those folks tend to bring their own because they're close enough to really do so and it's easier. But I do have, there's a girl from Maryland and a girl from, she's from New Jersey maybe, and they brought theirs too. They trailered them down and brought them to campus. So it's really whatever your comfort level is. And if you don't, yes, like we at Lander, we would have a horses that you could kind of say use, not like a car, ride and use for IHSA. So we have that option as well.
I just want to tag on to the question about horses as well. I think we're all kind of unique in how we approach this. At St. Andrews University, you would ride and compete on a St. Andrews horse. We have about 150. So you would draw a horse, you would ride on it like it was yours. You could even, if you're taking one of our classes, you could even adopt that horse. Now, on the flip side, like the other ladies have said, we do have students that want to bring their horse and they may be competing A&RC, or they may be competing on our show team where they do need their own horse. We can board up to about 200 horses on our property, and there's boarding in the Laurinburg area for an additional 100 horses. We have some riders that bring, I've got a guy now that I can think of that he's brought 3 of his horses. He's got one on the St. Andrews property, and then he has 2 someplace else. He trail rides with those horses. So it depends on what the student wants to do, but competition wise, you're going to ride a St. Andrews horse. If you're a Western rider, you'll ride a Western horse. If you're a dressage rider, you'll ride a dressage horse.
Emory and Henry is the same idea as these other ladies have said. We do have about 20 stalls typically available for students to bring their own horses, but as they said as well, a lot of collegiate riding is based off of students learning how to ride other horses, because that is the way a lot of the competition is based. So personally, our coaches will let you ride your horse in maybe 1 lesson a week or 1 lesson every other week sort of deal. But the classes that you sign up for riding wise through the registrar here, we ask you to ride our school horses as much as possible. We have about 65 school horses, give or take at every time and available. So we always have horses that need to be ridden. So.
Okay, so there's one more question. So the IHSA team practice requirements and how many shows are attended. So it really varies for each program. I know personally for Converse, the girls practice twice a week at the farm, and then 2 to 3 times a week with the trainers on campus working out. So that's a total of 5 during the week. And we they're very flexible, especially the riding practices. I teach almost every single day, unless I'm competing with some of my other students somewhere. And then I teach all throughout the day as well. So from morning all the way into the evening. So I work all of those practices around all the girls' individual class schedules and work schedules. And then as well, you know, a lot of the girls come ride on the weekends if they're free and things like that. And then for how many IHSA shows, typically we would do around probably 3 or 4 a semester. This year is a little different because we've moved our region moved all of our shows to the spring. But so we'll end up having probably 6 in the spring before we get into regionals and zones and everything. But it's for Converse, every girl competes at every competition. We like to keep the team small enough number-wise that we're able to do that. But I know for the larger teams, sometimes that can vary and can allow a little bit more flexibility for, you know, how involved you want to be. For our team, we, you know, as a varsity sport at Converse, you know, it's a top priority for each of our athletes. So they compete at each competition and all of that.
I'm going to add in, I'm going to follow Coach Amelia. At St. Andrews, our riders are guaranteed 2 lesson rides a week. Now that is in addition to if they choose practice rides, if they've got a competition coming up, then Coach Carla, our Western coach, may call you in and want you to ride more. If you want a private lesson, you may choose to ride more. But at St. Andrews, our equestrian program is part of our academic program. So when you're in class, you're in the barn. So you are guaranteed the 2 lessons a week, but there's ample opportunity to ride every day if that's what you choose to ride when you coordinate that with the coach and your instructor.
Emory and Henry is similar to St. Andrews in that way because our riding classes are built into the academics. So as far as practices go, we actually require that every student who's on a team ride in at least 1 lesson a week. We prefer 2, but that is the team requirement. And those lessons are actually considered your practice. That's when the coaches get to lay eyes on you and get to see how you're doing and teach you. And then as far as our IHSA shows go, we show in about, I would say, 7 a semester, give or take, as far as it all depends on your region and zone that your school is in. And we'll have 1 or 2 practices on a Thursday or Friday before that horse show. And that's when the students who are chosen to go to that show that weekend get to actually ride a little bit extra is the way I'll put it. But as far as practices go, we don't have necessarily laid out practices because it is built into the curriculum.
New question. Do we pay for each lesson we have on a typical basis? How does that work for you guys?
At St. Andrews, your lessons are part of your academic program. You do have a fee that you pay when you pay your tuition that covers those lessons. If you want additional lessons, then that is a private lesson and you can choose to do that as well. But with us, it is part of the St. Andrews program. So St. Andrews helps offset those fees. We pick up, I think somebody else, one of the other ladies has already mentioned this, but we do pick up all travel, all anything associated with riding for St. Andrews, and St. Andrews is going to pay for that, whether it's hotels, meals on the road, et cetera, et cetera.
And Emory's that same way.
Yeah, at Converse, none of your lessons would be out of your own pocket. It's all coming from the university. There's no additional fee. There's no additional fee at the beginning of the semester. or any additional tuition or anything that has to do with the team. So all of that's covered.
If I had a board, I would just hold up same. So it's kind of across the board, like, yes. And as far as going out there, I mean, again, you guys, I don't ride, but I know that our girls that go out there, even when they're not in lesson, they're out there every day. So, I mean, obviously it's their passion. It's probably the reason why they chose one of our universities is because of an equestrian team. So, and we have a new question. So if I major in something like pre-law and I do this as a sport, it's still put in my tuition.
At St. Andrews, if you are a competitive rider, you will have fees associated with it. They're very minimal compared to what you're used to paying. If you take equestrian, say PE 101, and that is equestrian, then that is part of tuition. But if you're a competitive rider, there are some additional fees, yes.
And just something to think about, because several of these schools offer equestrian scholarships, those scholarships go towards those fees. That's what helps, it helps offset.
So for Converse, there's no fees or anything. It's all just, you are recruited to be on a sport, just as if you were recruited to be on a football team or a soccer team or tennis or whatever it is. It's a varsity sport at Converse. It runs exactly like all of our other sports do.
That was a great question because we're all different. So students, when you're visiting with us, there are questions that you definitely need to ask. Ask the coach, ask the director of the program if you get to meet with that specific person. But make sure you ask those questions because each student could be different based on what you want and based on what the coach wants you to do. You know, we're all different. So that is a fabulous question, and be sure to ask that when you visit with us. And we do want you to visit with us and meet our four-legged babies.
I'll just piggyback off of that, coming from, and we all are kind of a part of admissions in some way, shape, or form, even as a coach, that we're still, as a campus, we're still hosting in-person open houses. As a part of our open house program, you get to go out to our facility, to the Burton Center, tour the facility, tour the barn, meet the coaches, meet the equestrian staff. And so that's one of those ways when you guys are looking at different schools to go visit, see if there's some kind of component as a part of another event that gets you to be able to go out. So one, you're using your time wisely while you're trying to do visits during this pandemic, but that you're investing in like the right places that have what you're looking for. So if equestrian's like a really big deal for you, then I would, kind of start Googling that information and finding out what events they have then, and then how can you kind of piggyback doing a tour of the facility with an admissions event at the same time. So any other questions? Those are really good questions, you guys.
All right. Well, if there are no more questions, we will go ahead and wrap up this session. Thank you all for joining us today. And thank you, panelists, for giving such a great presentation. When you close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We'd appreciate any feedback that you can provide. Also, this was just one of many sessions being hosted, so be sure to sign up for additional sessions at CACRAO.org. In about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording as well as all the other sessions recordings at CACRAO.org. Thank you and have a great day.